Welcome everyone. This is Brother Doug with my sister Shoshana. We are part of the Awakened by Yahuwah Fellowship group, and we are doing something different today. We're going to actually do a very quick and to the point expose on why it's important to use the Father and the Son's true names and their true original Paleo-Hebrew into English translations. And for the Father, it's Yahuwah pronounced, and it's Yahuah. And for the Son, it's Yahusha, and that's Yahusha. And so we first are going to start off with a secular resource, a actual movie trailer that actually shows that they're using this corruption, the W-E-H corruption of Yahuwah's name, as being used by the villain of this movie, which is basically trying to claim himself to be a God, a mighty one, and actually also claiming to be the creator of the mutants. So this is called X-Men Apocalypse, and this is going to be a very short clip. It's going to be like 30-second clip that I'm going to show you guys. So let me just... Alright, so let me go to my share screen real quick and make sure I got the computer sound on here. Alright, here we go.
I saw the end of the world. I could feel all this death.
Jean, it was just a dream.
You wandered through the willows in the forest you have found.
I've been called many things over many lifetimes.
Trying to hide.
Ra, Krishna, Yahweh.
Ever since the world found out about mutants, there have been secret societies who see them as some kind of second coming or sign of God. They believe that tens of thousands of years ago,
So basically, if you viewers listen to what he was saying, he's saying that I've been known by many lifetimes, and he gives the false deity Ra, the false deity Krishna, and then he gives the false deity Weh. And Christian Jews, you might be asking me, well, that doesn't make sense because we know that name to be his name. Well, the problem is, in actuality, that corruption in his name was a name of a false deity in Roman lore, as we know it as a planet, Jupiter. And we know it also in the Greek as the false deity of thunder, which, funny enough, Hashatan himself takes that identity of Zeus many times, because as you can see in the book of Luke, Yahusha himself says, "Behold, I saw Hashatan fall out of heaven as lightning." So I believe personally, in my opinion, that Hashatan has actually taken that identity of Zeus, of that false deity. And these false deities are real. They're not just statues. They were children of the fallen, and you know, you could go into that, but we're going to try to stick on the topic of how the name got corrupted, and Scripture tells us that it would be corrupted. So first, I'm going to go into a couple of verses here. We're going to go to the book of Jeremiah and actually go to chapter. First, we're going to go chronologically and go to chapter 8, verse 8 of Jeremiah. And just to build a foundation here, it says, "How do you say we are wise in the law of Yod-He-Uah-He?" YHUH is the true correct translation of the Tetragrammaton. "Is with us, lo, certainly the lying pen of the scribes has made it falsehood." So right there, it tells you that these scribes back in Jeremiah's day, this is way back, were making Yahuwah's basically trying to corrupt Yahuwah's word and making it falsehood. That's what it's saying. And if you go to Jeremiah chapter 11, verse 19, but I was like a lamb brought to, or an ox that is brought to the slaughter, and I knew not that they had devised devices against me, saying, let us destroy the tree with the fruit thereof, and let us cut him off from the land of the living, that his name may be no more remembered. The ISR actually says forgot, which I kind of like. Or no, it says remember no more. But what Jeremiah 11:19 is talking about is a prophecy talking, Yahuwah himself talking through Jeremiah saying, I was led like a lamb to the slaughter. And they devised wicked schemes against me that they would kill me and make sure my name would not be remembered. Now, we know in the Brit Hadashah, this is Yahusha that it happens to. He gives himself up for us and dies for us, and guess what? His name gets no more remembered and gets replaced. So it's actually happening to the Father and the Son. The Father's name gets replaced by a modern corruption, but it's even gotten more corrupted. And I can show you this, proof of this, from a little PDF I have here that I'm going to put on share screen. And this actually gives you a brief history of the name of Yahuwah. Now just ignore, because this is secular, ignore the false Jehova on the title, but this actually gives you a brief history. It says in 1278, a Spanish monk wrote the Latin word, guess that means dagger of belief in Latin. And in this book, he used the name of Yahuwah, spelling it Yohua. So that is probably the closest that we've had up to date in other languages of using the Paleo version, and that was back in 1278. Now, as you go down, you got 1303. It's already being changed to Iohouah, but it still hasn't gotten to WEH, and still hasn't gotten to HOVAH. Notice that. Then in 1518, it changes. Why? Why does the O change to an E? Why are they changing IO to IE? So that's only in 1518. And then you have in the 1530 William Tyndale translation, which I recommend to people that are first getting into Hebrew roots, because it actually shows that Circe, or church, was not in the scriptures originally, and Tyndale never used that false title for the assembly, but that's another topic. Genesis 15:2 is a verse, they have a rendition of Yahuwah's name. Exodus chapter 6 verse 3, they have a rendition of his name. 15 verse 3 of Exodus, chapter 17 verse 6, 23 verse 17, 33 verse 19, 34 verse 23, Deuteronomy chapter 3 verse 24, and they also included Yahuwah's name in Ezekiel chapter 18:23 and 36 verse 23 in his translation that were added at the end of the New Testament in 1534. So again, this translation actually gives you a rendition of Yahuwah's name in all those verses I just cited. And then it says in 1534, Martin Luther published his complete translation of the Bible in German based on original languages while he used the German. Unfortunately, Martin Luther was one of the first to go from using the rendition of the name to the traditional LORD for the Tetragrammaton. So I really recommend people find this document here. This is telling you that Martin Luther is substituting LORD for the Tetragrammaton in a sermon which he delivered in 1526 on Jeremiah 23:1-8. Interestingly enough, the chapter that talks about his name being corrupted. And actually, let me stop there because I actually forgot a couple of verses that I actually want to go to. And the first is where this document actually talks about the chapter I actually want to go to. So I kind of want to get a plug in here for Jeremiah 23:27 that specifically talks about substituting Yahuwah's name for the worship of L-O-R-D. In English, L-O-R-D is what the Hebrew is in B-A-A-L. So check this out. Jeremiah 23:27, who try to make my people forget my name by their dreams, which everyone relates to his neighbor, as their fathers forgot my name from B-A-A-L. Now, you might be saying, who's B-A-A-L? And why in my Bible is that name being used for a false deity all the time? Well, he is the one who created the Tower of Babel. Nimrod began to be named by like 70 different names by 70 different nations after the Tower of Babel. Yahuwah confounded the languages, as you can look up in Genesis 11. We don't have time to get into that, but that's how he became B-A-A-L. That's how the first anti-Messiah became B-A-A-L. And he's been known by that name by a lot of occultists know him by that name. So we're also going to go to, let's see if I forgot any of them. Nope, I think we're good on the scriptural verses. Sister Shoshana can actually give you more information on the corruption of W-E-H. But I will say this, that from the Tyndale from 1523 or 26 to 1611, it changed from H-O-U-A-H already to H-O-V-A-H. So you might want to be asking yourselves, how did that happen? So I'm going to give the floor to Sister Shoshana, and she'll give some more info that she has.
What I basically want to point out is the fact that the Roman god Jupiter used to be called Yahweh. The spelling in Latin is I-O-V-E. Now, in Latin, and I took 2 years of the stuff, I made straight A's, so I ought to know something about it. The I is pronounced like an E. The O is pronounced like a short O, like an ah. And the V is pronounced like a W. It's not pronounced like a V. And the E is pronounced like a short E. And all together, you put it together, you get Yahweh. And that was the Latin name for that statue, Jupiter, that the Vatican has in front of it. They call it Peter, but it's not Peter. It's that other thing. It's a foreign mighty one. And I think that's all I need to say right now. Doug, back to you.
Okay. All right. Also, people might be saying, how does this refer to the son's name? Well, we're going to get into that right now. The son's name started out as Yahusha. In the Tyndale, as the prophet Yahusha, son of Nun, they at least still had a rendition of Yahusha's name. They had it as I-O-S-H-U-A, which pretty much is even more of a corruption from Yahushua. It went from Yahusha to Yahushua with an extra U that they added with the Masoretic vowel points. And then went from there to Yahoshua. And of course, the Tyndale had an I instead of a Y. So you have Eoshua for Joshua, son of Nun, Yahusha, son of Nun. And so it went from that even to some scriptures today actually substitute Joshua for Jeshua. They actually put Jeshua for the son of Nun's name, which the only reason they could do that is because they obviously know that's Yahusha's true name, is what the son of Nun's name was. And so they try to hide it. Like in the book of Hebrews, you'll see it says if, most translations will say if Yahusha gave them rest. In modern English, it would say Joshua gave them rest, talking about the Son of Nun. Now, the King James exposes himself because he actually puts Jesus there. So he's trying to. Some translators try to hide Yahusha's name, even though it's not even talking about Yahusha in that verse. And so that's the way we can know for sure that Yahusha's name has been corrupted all the way down to Jesus. Plus the fact, I'm going to give a verse here that talks about the prophecy of Yahusha's name, and that his name would be Yahusha and not JC. It's Zechariah chapter 6, verse 11 to 12. And this, in Messianic translations, funny enough, actually cross-reference this verse from the New Testament. So here we go. This is Zechariah chapter 6, verse 11 and 12. It says, "Then take silver and gold and make crowns and set them upon the head of Yahusha, son of Jehozadak, the high priest, and shall speak to him, saying, Thus said Yahuwah of armies, of heaven armies, saying, See, the man whose name is the," and usually most translations nowadays have it in all caps, "the branch. And from his place he shall branch out, and he shall build the mountain of Yahuwah." Or probably actually Hikal, I think, means house of Yahuwah. My bad about that. Not too good on Hebrew there. All right. So now, if you're familiar with the prophecies of the Messiah, in other places in Jeremiah, he's known as the stem of Jesse, the righteous branch that will sprout out from David. So Yahuwah, by Yahuwah saying his name is the branch, he's actually saying the name of this son of the high priest is the Messiah, basically. That's the Messiah's name. Quite literally, Yahuwah is saying. And so we know from this verse that that should have been his name in the New Testament. Now, somewhere along the lines, people start saying, oh no, I'm going to put an I there. I'm going to put an E there. I'm going to put an SUS there. What? So, and another thing you can kind of do as a fun little activity, put the two names Jupiter, write it on a piece of paper, that name, and write ZEUS on a piece of paper. And take certain letters from both of those names, you'll get JESUS. So in actuality, the only way they were able to come up with this false corruption of Yahusha's name is by combining the Greek and Roman versions of that false deity. That's the only way they could have gotten that name. And so most people don't know that. I actually found out by actually doing it. And Sister Shoshana wants to share something.
I left out something when I was speaking on the Latin god, the Roman god, Iove. How many of you have heard the expression by Jove? Well, Jove is the anglicized version with the J of Iove. And this is why the Iove means is Jupiter. It's the same deity as Jupiter. And I just wanted to bring that out because I'm sure everybody's heard that at one point in their lives, by Jove. Of course, there was no J, so it was Iove, and that was pronounced, as I said before, Yahweh. Okay, back to you, Doug.
I'm trying to see if there's any way I can break it more down to make it simpler for them to, kind of grasp, is that basically the Masoretes, if you go into their own writings, the Masoretes will say, we did this to protect the name. We did this so that the Goyim wouldn't mess up pronunciation. We did this because Yahuwah's name is too set apart to pronounce. Why then is Yahuwah in Proverbs 34, and that's one more verse I wanted to give you guys to really make you ponder on the importance of the name, on the importance of Yahuwah and Yahusha's name. It's Proverbs chapter 30, verse 4, and it says, "Who has gone up," meaning ascended, "to the heavens and come down? Who has gathered the wind into his fist? Who has bound the waters in a garment? Who has established all the ends of the earth? What is his name? What is his son's name, if you know it?" And so this is actually prophetic. This is Solomon writing this. And this is before the names are even getting blotted out. So Sister Shoshana, I think, wants to say something.
One simple way you can show the true name, if Yehuda is correct, Yahuwah must be correct. Because all you have to do is take the dalet, which is the D sound, out of the name of Yehuda, and you have Yahuwah. It's very simple. You cannot get Yahweh out of that set of letters. You can only get Yahuwah. Okay? Go ahead, Doug.
All right. I'm just seeing if I think we're about to end it at this point. I don't want us being over a dead horse. I think this is enough information for people just to get them a head start. And I hope this message has baraked you guys. And I hope you look into this. Again, you want more info, you want to do more research, first research the Masoretes and the Masoretic text. Research.
Don't believe us. Don't believe any man. Search it out for yourself. If these things be true. That's what I was told, and I did it. And I hope you will do the same. Thank you.
Yeah, shalom, guys. Hope this message helped you out, and I encourage you guys, get in the scriptures, keep researching, keep finding stuff out, and want to wish you guys well in your journey of truth. Shalom.
Shalom.